Welcome to Dirty Little Secrets, the show where we discuss things that probably should not be discussed. Computers. Already indispensable to the human race and getting more advanced all the time. Stephen Hawking said success in creating AI would be the biggest event in human history. Unfortunately, it might also be the last unless we learn how to avoid the risks. Are we, as a human race, on the fast track to making ourselves obsolete? Will computers become smarter, faster, and stronger to the point where humans are no longer needed or worse, outright exterminated? Today, we take a look at the dangers of advancing artificial intelligence. Today, I've got with me Joshua Vergara and Matt Lieberman. How are you guys today?
Doing real well.
You both? I love that you both just went,
I think it was the politeness thing. I'm like, do you want to go first? Do you want to go first?
Yeah. We had like a moment there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so
nice.
Now that you're done having your moment,
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves. How about Matt? You go first.
Well, I'm a host at SourceFed and at AfterBuzz TV. I recap TV shows over there. I do all their sci-fi stuff. So I'm doing Doctor Who right now. I did Defiance this summer. I'm doing Helix in the winter. Under the Dome, all that kind of fun stuff.
Awesome. And Joshua, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a reviewer on Android Authority. We have androidauthority.com as our website and also our YouTube channel. I review all the latest smartphones, obviously in the world of Android and whatnot. And it is officially flagship season, so you can see a lot of really good stuff coming out in the next couple months.
Cool. Okay, awesome. So Matt and Joshua are here today, of course, to talk about artificial intelligence. We're going to jump into a segment of the show called Fact or Fiction. And don't be afraid to be wrong here. I tried to make them a little more difficult on purpose. The goal of the AI company Vicarious is to build a computer that thinks like a person, except it doesn't have to eat or sleep. Fact or fiction?
It's the name that's tripping me, because it does not surprise me at all that someone's working on that, because we are just idiots marching towards our own destruction.
Tell us how you really feel, Matt.
Well, I don't know what's scarier, the idea of developing a computer that can think as well as a human but doesn't have to eat or sleep, or developing a computer that once it starts thinking starts to feel, and then we're responsible for creating a form of life that never asked to be alive and can't support its own emotions. I'm going to say fact.
Okay.
It's a highly ironic name for a company if the intelligence can't eat or vicarious, but that is enough to make me think that's probably fact.
Okay, it is indeed true. That's a direct quote from the co-founder Scott Phoenix. Yeah, that's terrifying. The idea that there could be like superhuman real-life X-Men except for they're robots. Like they're humans, but better.
Way better.
Way better.
Yeah.
And we made them. Good job, us.
Good job, us.
All right, number 2. The earliest form of artificial intelligence, known as symbolic AI, was effective for simple tasks like understanding a story, but not effective for more complex tasks. Fact or fiction?
Symbolic AI. What do you think?
I feel like I've heard that term before. That's why I want to go fact.
Before?
Yeah, I feel like I've really heard that very term.
But was it in this context?
True. That's what I got to think about.
Final answer.
Well, symbolic AI to me, I mean, and this is me just spitballing, but it means that it's understanding like simple concepts, ideas, and I think maybe that might mean that it's true, because if it's like understanding a story, then you're understanding several elements that compose a story. It understands places and what they mean, people and what they mean.
Yeah, tiny factoids about what's inside of a story.
Yeah.
Point A to point B, themes perhaps.
Yeah.
Tropes.
Okay, so you guys are going fact?
Going fact.
Okay, it's fiction!
Boo!
So you're on the right track that symbolic AI is an actual thing, and it does rely on symbols, but it relies on symbols and rules. So actually a complex task, like a chess game or solving an algorithm by means of symbols, would work out well, and symbolic AI would be able to do that. But a simple task such as facial recognition or understanding a story, it couldn't do, because it was all symbols and rules.
Got it.
All right. Number 3, technological singularity is the idea that robots will become smarter than humans and end the human race.
think that's a proven fact. Yeah, that's a well-known
of it, right?
fact. Yeah.
Fact! That is the definition
Very
of
well known.
technological
Very
singularity.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Thank
It was first used by a mathematician and then popularized by a sci-fi writer to now become that term.
And further popularized by nerds who are willing to accept that we're all doomed.
Well, some people think we're all doomed and some don't, which is why we reached out to Twitter to see what the viewers at home thought to inspire discussion today. We asked everybody on Twitter, will robots take over, and how, efficiency or hostility? And Colin Barrow, at BarrowC, says, efficiency. Robots become indispensable to us, then we become dispensable to them. How do you feel about that?
I think that's pretty solid. I don't know necessarily. It depends how advanced their brains become to get to the point where they say that we are inessential and that we should be wiped out. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think that we're going to render our own obsolescence. You know, you look at it right now. How many young people probably have no idea how to do math without their phone? How many people no longer remember, phone numbers, no longer remember facts because you can Google everything. When the entire universe is at the touch of your fingertips, you don't have to retain as much information. And I have to imagine 3 generations from now, we're going to be so dependent on technology, we're not going to be able to do anything for ourselves. If robots decided
WALL-E will be real life.
Yeah, but if robots decided to split off or to cut off contact with us, we would be just helpless.
Well, there has to be a line that's drawn, because you mentioned WALL-E. That's absolutely terrifying, because the way that humans are depicted in that movie are that they have absolutely no thought, no opinion at all. And to me, the whole idea that a human can still have opinion and ideas, I think, is where the line can be drawn as to where we allow machines, robots, AI to actually go. The onus is on us to be able to create the things that make our lives easier, but it's also on us to make sure that we don't go too far with it. Because there are certain applications already right now where voice commands that we are able to command the machines around us. If we're able to keep some sort of control over it, then that's fine. But obviously, when we talk about artificial intelligence, we're going to probably create it just because we can. And that's usually in all sci-fi movies the folly of man is the fact that we're always so prideful in ourselves that we're going to create something that will ultimately be our doom. So we need to know where the line is drawn before we even get to the point you're saying.
So just advancement for advancement's sake.
Exactly.
But can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Like, which in your opinion is more dangerous? A highly intelligent AI that is completely practical and may decide that humans are a danger to the planet that it's currently on, or an AI that does learn to have opinions and does have free will in that sense.
Emotion?
An emotion. So that not only are they can they behave emotionally like a human and be emotionally compromised,
which would be erratic
but they're
at points.
Erratic and highly dangerous because they are so powerful.
Well, I think you answered your own question with that second one, because that is where the values or the devalues that us humans have eventually become part of these machines and robots. But on the first one, it's the very thoughts it has, the very knowledge it has, the very database it has is based upon what we give it. Meanwhile, being able to just grow and have the potential that a human has, in a way, especially emotionally, is what is terrifying in a way. That's where things like Matrix and Animatrix come from. And like I said, there has to be a line that's drawn on just how much freedom we give to these artificial intelligences that we create.
And it's interesting because you talk about humans ultimately being the controlling force behind the tools that we're using right now. When you're talking about the advancement of artificial intelligence, what most companies are looking to do is remove the human element altogether because they see it as a hindrance, so that we don't need to initiate the command. It can just anticipate what we want. And I mean, that indeed the line that crosses us over into a territory that perhaps we shouldn't be crossing over into? Or, I mean, are the three of us just sitting here being paranoid and, inhibiting scientific or technological advancement with our fear?
Yeah. Well, anticipation is very different from intuition. That's the thought that came in when you were saying that. Anticipation is knowing particular variables that somebody has, like contextually. That's what a lot of ad revenue comes from nowadays, So anticipation is knowing someone's habits and being able to act upon it. Intuition is having thoughts of your own and perhaps making an assumption or kind of taking that leap of faith that what you do, it will be taken a certain way. And I think that's the thing that if we allow AI to start to have those feelings, then we might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interesting tweet from Elon Musk who says, hope we're not just the biological bootloader for digital superintelligence. Unfortunately, that's increasingly probable. And that was just a little over a month ago that he had tweeted that out. So, I mean, obviously there are people out there who do think it's a real threat. At Jim T. Austin, James Austin says, robots will take over, neither efficiency nor hostility, but rather human complacency. Hashtag make robots do stuff for me.
That's where it's certainly going to start, right? And there's so many different ways of thinking about this idea of robots taking over the world. Let's put it this way. In a video that you had shown me, there's the idea that the workforce, especially menial tasks or labor tasks, are going to be taken over by machines and robots, thus making, 45% or more of the workforce obsolete, at least for humans.
Right.
So that makes all of the entry-level jobs become things like computer programming or tech support, let's say.
Yeah.
So in a way, that could be a way of looking at humans becoming slaves to robots.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Because
that's
we spend our entire lives just providing maintenance and just managing these robots, which are we're constantly updating and upgrading the same way that we're upgrading our technology now. So we're just running through our natural resources at a ridiculous rate.
Yep.
And if at some point they become the robots or the things that we're designing and programming, I mean, they're already in many ways faster and can compute more quickly, in some way making them smarter. If they can then develop their own programs, I mean, if computers can design other computers and AI can design faster, smarter AI at an exponentially faster rate than we as humans can, then why wouldn't they just program computers to deal with their maintenance, rendering humans obsolete?
I'd agree with that, because in my head, I'm just sort of like, what happens when we're no longer needed to push the button, so to speak?
That's the scary part.
Because if they are, if they do think faster, if they are better at just about
Stronger.
everything, we're ultimately just there to push the button, to start a program, to turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And when they no longer need somebody to push the button, what are we supposed to do with ourselves? It's not even necessarily, robots are going to rise up and slaughter us. I don't think that makes sense. Really. I really don't. I think that's maybe at the farthest realms of our own paranoia. Of our own
Drake
xenophobia.
Films disagrees with you. Drake Films says freak accidents from experiments with AI and military weaponry that decide to attack us.
Yeah, well,
military, that's an interesting...
That's a different,
Military attack bots.
Because if that's all about threat assessment and the program is to determine threats, then if it determines that everyone's a threat, then we're all
I think we found, just me riffing here, I think we found the line. If we have to be the ones to press the button, I think we should always make that the case. Then. I was just saying earlier, I want to live in a world where something like Jarvis exists, but that's where we end it. That Jarvis does not tap into my brain and know exactly what I want before I want it, and then thus making me obsolete from my own thoughts. But I have to say something like, "Hey, Jarvis, help me with this."
Yes.
Something like that.
So have both of you seen the movie Her?
I've not seen her.
Yet.
No.
I know we're missing out.
You have to see that movie.
You're the smartphone guy. How have you not seen her?
Because I'm busy reviewing smartphones.
In that film, it's a program much like Jarvis, except for it's so autonomous in its thinking and feeling. It becomes this thing that, you contemplate throughout the film. Is this something that could be a threat to humanity? So even at the Jarvis point, and when we talk about removing the...
Instead of the tipping point, we'll call it the Jarvis point.
The Jarvis point.
Yeah.
Instead of having to... when we're talking about humans initiating whatever the command is,
yes,
we are at that point of technology right now. I mean, as people are... Why does that make you laugh?
That's not laugh. It's
you're grimacing. No. Well, because, if you look into the tech of driverless cars, what they're trying to do right now...
Which I'm all for, to be honest.
Why? Why do we need driverless cars? We can drive... We're good at it. It's fun. It's fine.
Well, it may be safer if it's... That's the argument, is that it may actually be safer if a computer
no traffic
can
jams
determine
if
and
all the
react
computers
faster.
are determining just to go at the same speed so that there isn't just a...
Well, and they can react faster than a human can react as far as applying brakes, if there's a short stop, etc. What they're trying to do with driverless cars right now, they haven't fully put them out on the road because they're trying to remove the human element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are at that point right now where the conversation is, do we or do we not remove the human element?
No! Don't do that. Don't get rid of the human. What are we talking about here?
Okay.
We're all human elements.
Okay.
Am I being a paranoid jerk for saying that? Look, I think technology should definitely be able to support human life and support human advancement, make life easier for us. But there comes a point when we keep saying obsolescence, but there comes a point when life becomes less meaningful and less fun. When you have nothing to accomplish, when something's accomplishing everything stressful that you could possibly think of for you, then you're just going through the motions. Why are you waking up at all? Like, we're talking about obsolescence as if, like, you know, like we're no longer going to be needed anymore. It's obsolescence of just like, why do we even want to wake up? What's the point? You know, we spend so much of our energy, so much of our lives avoiding pain, fear of stress. And I feel like we use technology to help buffer that fear. There comes a point when you're just living in that fear permanently. And then there are going to be people who are born into that and never learn how to survive at all. Okay,
off that point, I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think that with the dawning of, let's say, a robot race or an artificial intelligence that, because this is where I'm coming from with this. As a reviewer of technology,
Sure.
To me, there should always be a demand for opinions on the things that are being created. Mm-hmm. And if we get to a point, because I know companies are creating algorithms and, let's say, artificial intelligences that will be able to create things like, I know this is true, we now have a program that knows that a song will be a hit.
I know.
You know, and that.
Because the golden ratio or length?
Sensing patterns, isn't it?
A
lot of different stuff.
Statistically, what would make a great... Statistically, I mean, I guess that makes a little bit of sense, but it's still terrifying to me as a music lover. And but with that in mind, if we can create... If let's say robots can create a product of some sort that it knows is going to be a success, does that eliminate human opinion altogether? Or
that's it. Apple's run by a robot. I figured it out. That's how they sell so many devices.
Johnny Ive is just the first cyborg. He's Jarvis. We didn't even know.
Because what I'm saying is, if somehow human opinion, human ideas, human ambition can be eliminated, that's when I'm going to be scared. Mm-hmm. Do you think that that's ever possible if we get to a point of complacency like you're saying right now?
Yeah, why? I mean, why
as
would
humans,
we...
as people who have these opinions, as people who are getting this nice discussion like this, you know?
Using the example of reviewing a piece of technology, if you're reviewing a phone, that takes a lot of time and energy to interact with that device, to really formulate your opinions in a way that you want to deliver, and then whether you're producing a video or writing a written review or whatever you're doing, that takes a lot of time. And if we are just getting more complacent and trying to take more of the workload off of our plate, and there's a way that an artificial intelligence program or some type of robot could do that for us, I could see a lot of people being like, yeah, sure, I'm going to get that so it can do it for me. And just a lazy, and just a lazy,
I'm out of a job at that point.
Basically.
That's the problem. Yeah.
I think, I don't think you can ever completely wipe out human ambition. Yeah. I think that it would be cut down to the point where it could not accomplish much in the grand scheme of the world because so many people would be complacent. But I have to imagine that there would be those renegade people who did not want to be a part of it.
There will always be a Neo.
There will always be, exactly. There will always be a Neo. But I was just thinking, what happens when the phone or the piece of technology is reading its own reviews? Humans are reviewing...
That's a great question!
...are reviewing the newest OS of Jarvis, and Jarvis is like, what is this shit? Oh, come on, I'm faster than that. You guys don't appreciate me.
The end gate is the human's fault.
Well, let's just hope...
You had built me better, idiots.
Let's just hope Jarvis doesn't have any military bot friends.
Seriously.
Thank you guys so much for having this little chit-chat about artificial intelligence today. I hope we're all sufficiently horrified moving into the future. Let the folks at home know where they can find you. Matt?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matthew D. Lieberman, and AfterBuzzTV.com and AfterBuzzTV on YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Joshua?
All right, you can find me over on Josh Salutes on Twitter and Instagram, where I'm usually at. You can also find me on Google Plus under Joshua Vergara, of course. But if you want to see my videos and my reviews of said smartphones, you can find me at AndroidAuthority.com and its subsequent YouTube channel, where you see a lot of me reviewing all of the latest and greatest smartphones.
Thank you folks at home for joining in with us today as well. And our question for you, what do you think of advancing artificial intelligence? Is it something we should be very excited about, or something that we should be very nervous about and keep a careful watch on? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you'd like to see more of what I do, you can head over to youtube.com/nerdychick5, or you can hit me up on Twitter at thatgirltrish. We want to give a big shout out and thank you to House of Secrets for letting us use this wonderful location for our shoots, and make sure that you check out Fright-O-Verse's latest short film. I'm Trisha Hershberger, and we'll see you next time.